Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dr. Howie here. I want to introduce you guys to Tommy. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
You want to tell everybody a little bit about what's been going on with you, Tommy?
Yeah, actually this last couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of yard work, so my left side on the back side is really sore, really tight, not much movement with my right leg as well because of it. A lot of gym sessions, a lot of other things going on, so I'm glad you're back from your vacation.
Awesome,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was actually gone on vacation for quite some time, and during that time, Tommy did reach out about just a little flare up in his back with all the yard work and all that. And what was actually interesting enough is from some of the exercise I gave Tommy, he actually felt some improvement. So that's a testament to Tommy's work. And also, like we talk about in this office, healing comes from within, not from external forces. So it's really about what you're doing, about your day, and changing the patterns and habits. So super stoked for you on that. Talk to me a little bit about how your back is feeling, what you got going on rest of the day. I think you have a golf tee time coming up.
Yeah, I'm golfing today, so hopefully get that, that kind of motion, motion back that I've been missing after, not being adjusted. But yeah, and then, I play basketball. I'm quite active, so I've been coming to you lately to help me out with that. It's been
awesome.
It's been a lot of help.
Cool. It's just a few things to kind of check in. We worked with Tommy for a few sessions here, and one of the two things I've heard when he's talking about playing basketball and golfing was, especially golfing 18 holes, by the time we're hitting the back 9 part, it does feel a little bit more stiffness in the low back there. Something Tommy did talk about when he's playing basketball, rather than dunking on all those people, he did notice when he's shooting that jumper, leaning back into that extension was having some difficulties there. So can you kind of just give us a little rundown how it's feeling since we got to work together here? Anything you're noticing now still?
Yeah, definitely big difference. Instead of playing one game of basketball because my neck or my shoulders are sore, it's now when I run out of breath and my lungs give up. So that's been a huge help. My sleep has been amazing. No more tossing and turning or waking up in the morning with one side of my neck just on fire. And also with the sleep with my back, I don't have to every morning do my stretches, pulling my knee to my chest just to kind of wake my back up to get it activated for the day. So
Love it.
It's been
right.
awesome. It's been
so
awesome.
We're not there fully healed yet, but we're climbing this progression. It's like we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so let's get you fixed up today, shall we?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Tommy, let's go face down for me.
I don't even think I'm straight right now.
All right, cool. So starting out here, Tommy facing down, and today is Friday, so I imagine a lot of us on Fridays are dealing with sort of the end of the work week, right? A lot of us are just trying to get through the day because we're trying to enjoy the weekend, but also kind of de-stressing from the stresses of the week. So knowing Tommy, every time he comes in an appointment, he's on the phone yelling at a client or something like that. No, just kidding. But I do know that Tommy is an individual who takes a lot of pride in his work, and he gives his very all. And so when he's here for the appointment, it's 15, 20 minutes. I just want to spend the first 2 minutes just allowing his body to just lay here comfortably, go into the breath, and we'll cue some areas of breathing. I'm going to press here the low back, breathe into that low back, letting that through. Good, keep going. And you can see as he's cueing the breath into the low back here, he's turning that pelvis over, letting that through. The body then will just start unwinding. We're actually going to see a different tension pattern come out as he's breathing through. The pelvis actually is a little bit more aligned now as we're checking here. Right leg short. Bring that up, left leg giving resistance. So it's probably a sacrum issue here on the left side. Go grab some blocks. All right, continue breathing there, sir. And let's get your pelvis a little bit more even. There you go. Good. You can see how the pelvis here starts to just align align a little bit better, his breathing into this space. And now what we're actually seeing is that, yeah, low back, the QL muscles actually are feeling a lot better than before when he first started out here. And what happens is as we just kind of palpate through, we can actually feel a lot of the tension in the spine right here in the mid-back region. So that actually kind of tells me, is the issue he's feeling in his low back actually coming from the low back, or is that something that's coming from a mid-back tension and it's creating a compensation pattern in the low back, all right? So this is why it's so important to just allow the patient here to come in away from their sympathetic day, rest and digest type of breathing, decompression breathing, and just allowing the body to start relaxing. And we're gonna start seeing a different physical pattern on the body here. And now the mid back is really speaking to us. So let's get that dialed in for him here. Go and just lift your head up, chin on the headrest. That way we're putting his neck in extension. And let's see how that mid back feels. It does feel a lot easier. It has more give. Just a few more breaths there. Excellent. In this mid back here, even though we feel a lot of compression here, I do feel like the fascia itself does feel a little bit more twisted and twerked. So I'm gonna find a way to twist that fascia where the muscles itself feel really relaxed under my hands. We're gonna go this clockwise twist. That feels all right. We're gonna go this way counterclockwise. Doesn't seem like counterclockwise is the way to go. So we're gonna go for a clockwise shift there. Go ahead. Yep. And now you can see that extra breath is taking a next oomph into this area as he's breathing. Nice job, Tommy. Great work. We adjusted that upper thoracic part, and now down here, middle thoracic. We're gonna come from inferior to superior, just scooping that up. Done. Breathing that through, sir.
Oh, I feel longer.
Nice. That's something we like to hear a lot of times after the adjustment, just we're feeling taller, longer. And when we think about body position and posture, we think about anyone that's compressed, looking small, it's like you're trying to hide away from the world, right? So you're kind of in this fight or flight, versus if you're nice, tall, expansive, and decompressed, you're just inviting love to the world. We're in that nice rest and digest phase. Awesome. Let's keep going, Tommy. Right here and next. So we're just kind of continuing that chain. We worked out the mid back, and now let's work out this cervical thoracic junction right here. Feeling a lot of stuckness here, even the traps. This is his left side and right side. This left side, I can literally like pinch that trap there. It's got a lot of give. This right side's like a break. I can't really access that. So let's just take a look at which direction we want to adjust Tommy. We're going to turn him this way and fire that through. Good breathing. Nicely done. Letting that go for me. There it is. Nicely done, sir. Good. One more up top, a little higher. Nicely done. Good breathing, Tommy. Good. Nicely done. Now, as we come back and kind of recheck that right trap, when we come in, wow, look at that. It's got a lot more give. Just allow him to breathe now, and we'll just allow that trap to come back, more relaxed. I'll hold this here for you, Tommy, as you breathe. One last one. One thing we really worked with Tommy on our first session is really incorporating the diaphragmatic breathing, belly, chest, neck. And that's something I do see on Tom that he's been really incorporating in his day-to-day. And I've noticed that as we're working together in our appointments, that with each adjustment, he is really thinking about where we had adjusted that area, and he's trying to breathe into that space. You can see a huge difference now in his body. As he's breathing, there's just this wave that spirals over. And we love to see that. He's definitely feeling a lot taller, a lot more decompressed, and a lot more relaxed. So that's what we want for Tommy here. All right, let's move along. So we spent a lot of time working on his upper body. Let's go check out his legs and pelvis. Before, when we first started out, as he's breathing there, we did notice that the right leg is shorter. If we're just coming around this way, it actually looks a lot more even now, which is exciting. As we brought the knees up and creating resistance here, there was a lot of resistance on that left leg, but let's just see if that makes any changes. Still got some resistance there, so that's telling me, all right, we gotta take a look at what's happening here in the pelvis and sacrum. Sacrum is definitely rocked to the left. I can feel the difference as we're pushing through here. So, Tommy, you can do me a favor, roll on your side, face me this way. All right. So Tommy has worked with a chiropractor in the past before, and he did bring in his x-rays for me. So kind of have an idea what his lumbar spine looks like. And so what I really want to do for Tommy specifically with his low back adjustments is I want to be very precise and specific. I don't necessarily do what we want to call blow up the entire area. And so for this adjustment on this side, we're going to be very specific on the sacrum. So we're actually going to have a different type of setup here. Your leg is going to be straight and straight. Oh, he's already feeling that stretch. All right, so that tells me, yeah, this is definitely where we want to go. Here's the sacrum, rocking that over for him, and a straight drop. There you go. All right, I still want to stay on his pelvis. I'm going to do my best not to get any lumbar involvement. We adjusted that sacrum. Now I want to adjust the pelvis here. Low, yep, and let that go for me. There you go, keeping it all in the pelvis. Get on your back for me here. So while it's always nice as a chiropractor, you're adjusting patients and you're giving them a big cavitation, big popping noises, and that probably feels relieving for a lot of folks. But some folks where they're really dealing with a chronic low back flare-up, that's not necessarily something that we want to go for. We really want to think about how the body is aligned, where to adjust so that his body's going to feel more aligned rather than just kind of blowing up the segments, feeling that relief, and then a few hours later feeling those tension patterns come back. So we do want to be specific here. Okay, we're going to spend some time working the hips here. They are going to be a little tight, so just breathe for me, Tommy. Especially he's got 18 holes of golf play later. We want to get him ready. Hopefully more. Absolutely a way to enjoy your Friday afternoon here. And just breathing through, pinning and stretching the muscle all the way through. And because something to think about more clinically, which is knowing that Tommy later has 18 plus holes of play, that we don't necessarily want to just go deep tissue massaging that through where later in the day he's going to kind of feel that soreness. What we want to do is kind of activate, get his body ready to go. So I'm not necessarily pressing hard. I'm just pressing into it so his body can feel where my fingertips are. You can feel how he's sort of tightening up, allowing his body to breathe. And then rather than just digging in deeper, I'm just gonna hold that and then move the rest of his legs, and allowing that hip flexor to lengthen as we're just moving that tight spot around, helping his body remember how the hips move here from right to left. There's gonna be a lot of walking on different types of terrains. A lot of drinking, right? He may be stumbling, so just want to make sure that his hips are moving great here. Hey, we got to be honest in our appointments, right? Good. One more breath. Nicely done. All right, taking a look at Tommy's feet here. So it's got great plantar flexion. He can point those tiptoes really, he can go into tiptoes really well. Just kind of go into inversion, eversion, inversion. Inversion actually goes really well. Coming out, does get a little bit stuck. He does play a lot of basketball in his past, so yeah, protecting the ankles is really important for him. And coming up, we do lack a little bit of that dorsiflexion. So we do see that in quite some times for some people here. And so we will do, as we've done before, instead of I do feel not so much the talus up top here, but more the metatarsals here. And he has broken that. He, in college, did a lot of professional cliff jumping. That's something, a fun fact about Tommy. And so, yeah, you can imagine as he's diving down from the cliffs, impacting the feet, there are gonna have some feet issues here. So again, with Tommy here, our intentions always try to be precise and specific rather than just kind of blowing up all the segments here. So we're gonna just really isolate the top part of his feet here. Very nice. Really much better. Same thing with this foot. So this foot actually does a really good job of going a dorsiflexion. There is a little bit of resistance there, but not as much as the right. Going down, plantar flexion feels great. Going in and out, inversion, eversion. So they're actually pretty solid movements here. But I do feel like the Achilles, not the Achilles, the calcaneus here does feel a bit stuck. It does feel like it's rocked in. So if I were able to push that out a little bit, and we're just gonna pull from that right arm here. Good, small movement. I'm gonna just add in my left hand with that scoop. There you go. Nice job. Great job breathing. So now, Tom, I'm gonna have you sit on up for me. 3, 2, 1, good, and stay right there. Good, right here for you. Give that a hug for me. All right. So according to the x-rays that I seen on Tommy, his L5 spinous is rocked to the right a little bit. And so when we're adjusting the low back here, again, Tommy is all about being specific and precise. And so I am gonna have a little bit of a rotation on this adjustment here. Here we go. Good, we'll start here. Low back slouch down just a bit for me, yep. So I can literally feel that right there for you. Gonna hug, twist him this way, and let's come down, come down, come down. Good, 3, 2, 1, up we go. Let's come up a little higher. There you go, there. And come on down for me, go and scoot up, scoot up. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Perfect spot, perfect. All right, nailed it. So it's really super helpful sometimes when we have x-rays so we know a little bit about what's going on with the body. But other than that, palpation is also a good key, and also just connecting with the patient and seeing how his breath is moving, what he's talking about with his history, and what kind of activities he likes to do. So we took care of the low back. We started out with the mid back here. And now with the mid back, a lot of times people do talk about that really annoying spot there, right, in that shoulder blade area. And so let's go ahead and take care of that for Tommy, especially while we're talking about golfing and basketball. These are all sports that you are using a rotation and extension. You're using your arms and your shoulders. So we want to make sure that we help Tommy here so that he's not dealing with that annoying nagging spot in his mid back. We'll just roll him over and let's go. Nicely done. Over. There's a scapula. There's that annoying spot. Yeah, he's feeling that already. Good. Elbows together and let's roll, 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 and over. There you go. All right. I'm gonna redo this right side. Oftentimes what we see a lot of folks, when we're talking about the mid-back shoulder blade area, and as we're adjusting the ribs, is that typically we're gonna have one side of the body that's more stuck behind, well then the other side of the body is more stuck in front. So we're kind of having this like component to that, okay? So for Tommy here, right hand, go ahead and cup your ear. Here, and you feel sort of the adjustment come in the front there. So let me just come through the shoulder. Good job, there it is. Good work. Not sure if you can notice this on camera, but as we got started with the adjustment 10 minutes ago, and we're working through each section here on Tommy, we do notice that his body, his energy, his aura almost, is definitely just a lot calmer. And so that allows us this portal to start into the healing journey, because a lot of times when we're stuck in that tension, fight or flight, it's really hard for the body to recover because the body's just always trying to perform and have maximum output. If you think of yourself like a performance car, you can only do so many laps at top speed around the runway before you gotta go in and get your gears checked and tires replaced and whatnot. So that's a really good way of thinking about what a chiropractic appointment can do for you. It's just as you're doing laps around the runway at full speed and whatnot, you do need to make sure you do take that time to come in, take that break, get things checked out, so then you can continue to run your life optimally around that racetrack. I just came up with that. Hopefully that made sense. Thank you. Tommy provides a lot of inspiration here on the table. So with Tommy here, this is the last part of the adjustment. When he first came in, there was a lot of that mid-back tightness. As I'm palpating his neck here, I don't really feel any sort of rotational adjustments that I need to do. But as I'm palpating through his lower neck here, I still feel a little bit of that compression in the low back, in the cervical thoracic spine here. And so there's a few ways here, which is a decompression move where I can use my hands and give it that pull. But I also know that I haven't seen Tommy for about 3 weeks or so almost a month. And I do have a special toy that I can use to really help decompress that. So if you have a moment here, let me go grab my toy. All right. Nap time, perfect. Go ahead and lift your head up a little bit for me. Great, and bring that down for me. There we go. All right, so the ever so popular Y strap, we do have that in this office. This is a equipment that has been requested a lot because everyone sees that on social media. It's not something I do on everybody. It's only when I feel like there's a clinical relevancy for that. And there's also a lot of trust with it because not everybody wants their neck held like that and being pulled. So for Tommy here, what I'm trying to do is really isolate this adjustment to that mid-neck area. So Tommy, if you can do me a favor, as you're just breathing here, I'm gonna take this strap, I'm gonna pull you in different positions here. When you feel like that mid-neck area kind of opens up, just give me a thumbs up, okay? There it is, good, and just breathe. So that helps me find out what angle is really targeting that mid-neck, lower neck, there it is, and pull. Nicely right there for me. Gained about 2 inches today, huh? Oh, yeah. Just take this last minute here, go into that breathing that we talked about all the time. And we're just kind of palpating more the mid-neck and lower neck. It does not feel as compressed as it was before. The neck actually feels a lot longer. And it's got more give as we're working that through. So I'm really happy we're able to help Tommy out there with that today. So just take another few more breaths here. You can even tell the way he's breathing, he has a little bit more room in each breath now compared to when he first started out today. That is phenomenal. All right, mister, let me help you up, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go ahead and turn to the camera. All right, Tommy, you just got adjusted. How you just look like you just woke up from a nap, man. Talk to me. How was that for you?
You get that kind of euphoria. But yeah, I feel longer. The soreness is gone. Looking forward to swinging that club today.
Awesome.
You know, that's the give and take when you come in. It's that, you know, my last chiropractors, you never knew if you're going to be sore the next day, but with Howie, it's never the case. It's never the case. So I'm always looking forward to, you know, right away I'm doing athletic stuff. You know, I'm putting my body to work. So yeah, it feels good. Feels good. Like I said, I always get sleepy, put in a euphoric state after I get adjusted.
Absolutely, and that's something we hear a lot of times, which is, yeah, you're feeling sleepy, tired, euphoric after the appointment, because a lot of times, like, you're so on the go all the time. We're always on the phones, going one location to the next. There we go, nice yawn, right? Yeah. And that's what we want, because a lot of times I tell people, how hard is it for you to fall asleep at night? If we're able to do that here at 10:30 in the morning, right? Oh, I'll take that any day. Something Tommy also mentioned is just how he feels in his appointments here compared to his last chiropractor. And so just something for the audience here, Tommy, like when you're looking for a chiropractor, what is the most important thing for you when you're looking for a chiropractor?
Kind of, you know, being specific to my needs. Ask me minimal questions and then get in there and just start firing away and start cracking away. And, you know, that's kind of worrisome. It can be very scary if people are, you know, just cracking away and they're not asking the specific questions that are needed, and especially what I do day to day. And a couple of times I've just literally blown out was the feeling, sore for a couple of days, hoping that I would get back to normal per se.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we do here at Golden Gate Chiropractic. We are specific to your needs and we cater your care plan to you and customize care to you. Not everybody that comes into the office wants what we call the glow stick, pop everything out mode, right? And so some people, even 10% of my patients here, I don't adjust. So it's really about what your needs are, finding out what your needs are specifically, and making sure that you do feel cared for and that you are just not another number here in this office. So anything else you want to share with the audience here before we call it a day?
No, I appreciate your time. Thanks for letting me come on. And you can cut this, but the poops afterward are always so good.
No, we could use that. We could use that.
It feels like everything's straight, everything flows amazingly. I'm not too embarrassed to say it, but yeah, the bowel system is always great after an adjustment.
Awesome. If I can add a little bit to that, thanks for sharing with us, right? The fact that going to the bathroom number 2 feels a lot better, because remember, Tommy is dealing with a low back issue, right? And a lot of times what people don't realize is that the low back nerves actually control what's happening here, bowel movements and whatnot. Definitely. So the fact that you can get adjusted and feel like you can sit on the toilet without any like tension or tightness and everything's flowing great. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting, because how many times, guys, have a bad number 2 experience sort of ruin your day? So love that is something that is helpful for you on top of everything else. So looking forward to you playing 18+ holes, connecting with friends, and going to the bathroom super smoothly.
Sweet.